Hello everybody, welcome to another knockoff review. In today's video, I'm finally getting around to taking a look at the AOYI Mech, or the Black Mamba versions of Studio Series Prime and Jetfire, aptly named LS-14 and 15. These are oversized and repainted versions of the original figures. Mine is actually a pre-production sample. It was sent to TF Direct. I've just been sitting on it for such a long time with my exams, etc. So I'm trying to get everything up to date, trying to catch up. But as you can see, Jetfire himself, I've got him displayed here in his vehicle mode, and he is quite large, to say the least. Good solid plastic. You know what you're getting with Black Mamba. Nice, clean looking figure. We've got a squirrel on the tail fin there. Like I said, I didn't get a box with Jetfire. I did, however, get a box with Prime. And for an oversized Studio Series, I mean, he's not bad. Really, I mean, he's got a nice presence about him. He does bear striking resemblance to some of the better kind of oversized versions of the MPM, for example. He cleans up quite nicely around the chest. He is not without his flaws, but that being said, they've been done to a pretty decent standard. Now let's take a closer look at Prime first. Cleans up okay. That's a pretty hefty backpack, isn't it? But none more so than what the original Studio Series Prime had. Love the Dark of the Moon 6-pack that we've got going on here. He's got his blaster in hand, and he does have his shield, albeit the shield just tabs in. I would like the hook on there, so you can kind of hooked it over the hand. But they literally have kind of oversized and repainted. That's about as far as they went with these. But then why not? You know, they've already got their own kind of Black Mamba MPM Prime out on the market. Why compete with themselves? We have some ankle tilt on there, no rotation on there. There is some rotation at the thigh, like so. We do have a double jointed bend on that knee. We have the knee pads that can rotate up and down. There is a waist rotation in there, no abdominal crunch in there. Shoulders are on a friction joint upwards, but really nice metallic ratchet coming outwards. Love the shoulder pads, they're really nicely done. Nice paint apps on there, nice piping along the flames. I've got a few of these on this one, a few little nicks here, there and everywhere. Really nice face sculpt on Prime. Tidies up pretty well on top, although we do have a gaping hole at the back there. I have a stress mark on mine where I tried to force something where it wouldn't go. It's just down here. That's my fault entirely. I was trying to bend this hinge here over to the back, where it's actually the outside hinge which bends, allowing these smokestacks and gas tanks to kind of sit nicely. Yeah, he's not a bad looking figure, I don't think. In terms of primes, I mean, front on, not that I speak for everybody, but I myself will be displaying him with Jetfire. I actually have MPM Prime with the Iron Warrior kit on at the moment, so he's ready for a full comparison for the fully combined mode. I mean, this is just shy of MPM height. He's not quite the same height, but it is very, very close. I believe I've got a picture that I did when I first got these, so I'll include that on this side here. Yeah, as you can see, they do compare relatively well. It's a nice figure. It's just it's just Prime. You know, we've had so many of these. Personally, I would have gone the MPM scale. I would have done Jetfire at possibly around the 50 centimeter mark, just so he was to scale properly with the Studio Series figures. He was massive. He was a really big figure, and it's one of the only figures that I'm not happy with the size of. I mean, they've made him big, but still not MPM size. Right, now let's move Jetfire out of the way for transformation. And let's get Prime transformed up into his vehicle mode. We're going to start with these legs. They are going to push. Just make sure that this unlatches and comes up and around. And then as this comes over, this is going to compress like so. There. And you can see these are going to tab in. And whether you store the wheels up here in this bot mode, or whether you store the wheels down here in this bot mode, you just need to make sure that these push and lock in here. We're going to come around to these back panels. These are going to hinge open like so. This is going to come untabbed. It's just tabbed in at the back here like this. This is going to lift up like this. This opens. This opens. Rotate Prime's waist all the way around like so, and then we can come on. Right, now I finally got mine off. It was absolutely terrifying. It's the third time I transformed him, and that's got stuck every single time. My one, I just apply a little bit of heat to that. It's because it's such a tight fit. I think with the added paint apps, I'd rather have a slightly loose joint there as opposed to a super tight one. But it comes off nonetheless. Anyway, this come untabbed from here, which allows the arms to drop forwards. And then come around to the back here, we have two panels. So we have this one here, which is going to form the side of the truck. So we can bring that around. Flip this exhaust panel around. This whole assembly folds down. That now allows us to flip Prime's head up and over, bringing all of that section up to the front. I particularly like the fact that we can now bring this panel, which was the Prime bot chest, and that's going to come round. But we need to do that with both sides. So you want to make sure that the chest section is all the way forwards, so that this comes in, because the clearance is very minimal, but it's clearance nonetheless. So bring that back in. This panel is going to drop like so. These are going to rotate. This is going to rotate. This will come down on that hinge, and then using both of these hinges, this is then going to rock into that void and fill out that section. And these are just going to square off, and we can start tabbing these back pieces in. So as long as those windows in here are staggered, this should tab together quite nicely. Right, we're now going to sort out these hands. So we're going to be aiming for something that looks like this for the front. So you want to bring this section around. The wrist is going to bend like so. This is hinged. This is going to come up like so. And that's going to compress so it's tucked away nicely on the inside. This here is going to fold inwards, and you can see there's this groove here. This is going to line up, and that will push, and he says it should lock into place. There we go. This is then going to open up. This will rotate around like this, and as that's going to come in and straighten off, you can see that we're going to bend this hinge here. This bends up like so. So it's now at a right angle, and then we've got a lip where it just sits underneath here, tabbing in. We just need to work this one round. You'll know it's square when these are either side of that plate at the front there. I just need to push and tab everything in firmly. That's all in. This is going to come over, this is going to come in, and these should loop and lip like so. And this is all down, this is all straight, this is all tabbed in. We can then untab these legs. These are going to move forward like so, and there's a tab just on the underside of that wheel, so that comes in. Okay, this side, bring that up. That's going to come up, push, and you're going to want to line that up. And there's just a matter of just tidying up around the edges. In fact, I think I'm going to have to sand that off. I've managed to slice my hand on that, trying to get that closed off. That's ridiculous. I've had it transformed twice now, and it's been a job to join these two bits at the front here each and every time. But hey, it doesn't really roll. It doesn't sit straight. These get in the way. They're very level with the wheels. This bit here kind of rubs on the back a little bit. I mean, it's good looking alt mode if you can ignore the glaring defects. I know it's because it's based on the Studio Series mold, and I am expecting kind of an MPM level of quality, but unfortunately it's just not there. We don't have that the engineering and the quality that I would be expecting from an MPM product. I would like the exhaust systems to come down. Maybe we'll get an add-on for this kit. I don't know, maybe, but size-wise, he's I'd say between leader and a large Voyager. He's a good scale, and I like what they've done with him. I just think that improvement-wise, I just think that sometimes people like Wei Zhang with their Black Apple, etc., they do add all of these little extras which do kind of separate them slightly, but affordability and just oversize, yes, this is definitely an option. Just mine in particular does not piece together where it's meant to. Next up, we have Jetfire, now that I'm fully armed with a band-aid. Oh god, I really made a right mess. Let's take a look at Jetfire, shall we? He's a good large figure. Let's take a look on the underside. As you can see, they've gone with the kind of clean deco. It's not bad. Personally, I prefer what Dream Factory did with their leader. If I can just bring him in. You'll have to excuse the fact I haven't put the tail fins on. But this was the limited edition where they went and done the whole rusted piece. Yeah, and the sound still works, scared the life out of me. To give you an idea, there's not a great deal in it. The Black Mamba Studio Series is slightly larger. Definitely holds together better than this guy as well, and this is panelific. Everything unplugs and plugs back in again to get him into that really nice envisionment of Jetfire. I will include a link, hit the information bar up there, and that will take you through to his video. I've done that a while back, but this guy, we don't have to go through all of that extra panel forming. And here we have him along with probably the dustiest. I'm trying to give it a quick wipe over before. He was flying in my lounge. I had him suspended from the ceiling. So shame on me. But it's a Junker Masterpiece Skywarp, the Kuban Bao one to be precise, but to give you an idea of how they fare. Now, I meant to have accessories with my Jetfire. I can't find the axe at all. I'm assuming that the sample didn't include one. Either that or I've completely missed it in the packaging and that's gone. We did get the added chest piece, which we can tab in, but he's a big one, isn't he? But anyway, size aside, he does kind of roll-ish. He does have wheels on the underside. We have some here and one at the front there. We can just compress these like so. These are going to come up like this, and let's move this landing gear section back down, and then these are going to untab like so. Tabbed in there quite nicely, but oh, he's such a nice looking figure. This is where the axe would normally sit if I hadn't lost it. Right, from here we want to disengage these sections here. Those just tab in to the top of those wings and to the top of those wings like so. They then come down, and these are going to come in. This is going to come down. This is going to come down like so, and these are going to come all the way into the center. There is a lock between the two. There we go. That's locked in nice and firmly. Right, so let's tackle these feet. This is going to lift up at the toe and come away like so. The whole jet turbine rotates. You'll notice that these just want to keep falling off. Parts forming if you take them off, I guess. I don't know, they're quite sharp. This is going to rotate around like so. Foot will come down, and there's a tab just on the underside. Right. So bring that out like this. The jet turbine folds down. This rocks up like so. Out of the way, and that's pretty much what we're going to have for our legs. And as you can see again, the turbines just keep falling off. Right, we're going to lift the landing gear section off. This is all part and parcel of his walking stick, like so. So take that off, and this is going to lift up away from the head. This section comes away. These are going to split like so, and these are on rotating hinges, and pull these sections off of here. These are actually going to split. I don't think the original split like this. I think it just hung down, but these do split. But for now, you want to grab this piece here, and if you look, you've got these tabs here. That's going to come over, line up, and that's going to push and locate into position, and then I can separate this one as well. Just there we go. They're just tabbed in at a couple of different places, but that really does make the world of difference having those articulated like that. We have these arms attached here. Those are actually going to come up like so, and these are going to rotate around, and this will come all the way up. Hands can then be opened like so. I did the same with this one, just disengage it like so, bring that up, and that's going to be rotated around like so. Because this thing's so ruddy big, now's a good time to start bringing all of these pieces together. This section here is going to bend. That's going to split and split like so. And that part slides down into the void on his backpack. And if you notice, there's these latches just here. Those are going to line up, and that'll push and lock that into position. And then we can push from the front with this head and back now locked in. And there's a latch just up the top of the shoulder. I'll just push and lock those shoulders in. Make sure these sections are facing forwards, and then we can angle the shoulders and hands as we see fit and bring these pieces out. So we've got Jetfire's head there. That's a really nice sculpt on there, isn't it? And last but by no means least, we bring this panel piece around, and that's on a hinge. That's just going to tab in here and push in, and then we can adjust these shoulder panels so that they form more like shoulder pads, and then we can pose him, and here we have him all transformed up. That's not bad, is it? It's not bad. He's definitely not as big as I was hoping. I'd like kind of double the size, but he's not terrible. Quick look around, everything has a place there it's meant to go. Fairly well balanced figure. It's got such a very wide foot base there that you can pretty much get him in any pose you need to. Not as much range on the head as I would liked a bit more downwards motion. But we do turn left and right. Love that sculpt on the face. This is all flexible rubber as well. We've got all of that articulation on the hands, which is new. Obviously something we wouldn't have had prior, as well as curves and bends on those fingers as well. The stick just fits in the underside of the hand. Obviously if we had the axe, it would fit into the grooves on the hand. Really nice figure, but definitely not perfect by any means. Just to give you an idea of how he scales, the only real Studio Series figures I still have, I've got the Bumblebee Prime, which I think that works really well with the Studio Series. That's my personal preference. Jetfire was always a really large character. I think we're talking like 50 feet, I think, in his bot mode. So that personally I think works remarkably well. And here he is alongside Super Sharp Prime. Yeah, I mean, it's an okay scale. I mean, if you're not a scale junkie, then yes, they do look nice together. But for those of you who like your scales, yeah, that's well off. And here he is with the Dream Factory kitted out Jetfire. I haven't added his gun and his walking stick, etc. But you've got to take all of that off to get everything transformed. And yes, okay, yeah, he looks nice from the back, etc. And the paint scheme is remarkably good. But I actually think that Black Mamba, aka AOYI Mech, I think they've actually done a remarkably good job with Jetfire. I think they've made the best of a okay-ish mould. I do like the weathering and that on here. Now there is a button on the back of the head just here. See if you can see that there. So we can press that in and we can light up Jetfire's eyes as well. I do like the beard as well. Eyes are pretty bright. It's just I've got a very bright setup here, haven't I? So there we go. Gets rid of that kind of dead eye syndrome that some of these figures are renowned for. As much as I love our Jetfire, we're going to remove this section here. You want to unplug these side panels like so, and same on this side, just unplug the side panels like so. And this whole piece here is going to untab from the back, shoulders, untab and untab. This back panel piece is going to come away like so, and then we want to lift this piece out, and with a little bit of brute force, ignorance, and the wiggling technique, the top and bottom sections of Jetfire can become dismantled, and we can use him for parts. Come around to these legs, and just if you look on the underside here, this again just slides in and out on this slider. Doesn't lock anywhere near as tightly as that torso, but it's still tight enough to have to apply a little bit of force. And while we've got the legs here, again, this is a pretty super tight joint. Take this off. There we go. These nip in there ridiculously tight. Don't really know why they've got it as tight as they have, but it's going to come up. So we can bring this back on. And we're going to attach the feet now whilst we've got them. So you want to get your Prime transformed up into his robot mode, and we just want to fold the toes up like we did for his vehicle mode, like so, and bring this wheel up to the back like this. Look at these foot, you've got this section here that's on a floating hinge, so you tab that in. We then bring this circle peg around, and that's going to tab in on the leg. That's going to push and lock into position, and then we can straighten off those legs. As with everything else on this set, you need to separate this, but it's a very tight joint. I grab the thighs and give those a pull. This is going to open all the way out, and let's just maneuver these jets like so. Bring this all the way out like this. This is going to come up on here like so. Next step, you want to prep the back of Prime, so let's just rotate those around, and this is going to come down. This is going to untab like so, come down and fold flat like this and like this. Untab this, so we're going to need to come in to these pieces here. We've got these little hinges. That's going to need to come all the way around, so that when we bring that back round, this is going to go on here. We'll do that both sides. So again, with this side, just unhook, bring that round, and bring that up like so. We can then bring this back down again, bring these gas tanks just down to the side, and then using this and this, we're going to slide this in. He says the idea is that this is going to lip in behind. Come on. There we go. And that's going to push. And same on this side. There we go. That will lock in either side. Make sure that the wings are tilted out slightly. Disengage these tabs, and those are going to put locate themselves just on the top like so. I'm going to open up Prime's chest, and this section here is going to detach, which again is really crazy stiff. I mean, unnecessarily so, really. And then we can bring in those new abs like so, and then these pieces come around. They join together at the front, and then using the hinges they're on, they are going to push, close this off, and push these end sections just detach, and we're going to straighten those up, and then using these tabs, we've got these circle pegs in the top of each arm, and those are going to tab in like so. God, those joints do not want to hold. Grab your Jetfire torso, bring this shoulder down, and this needs to rotate, and there's a tab just on the inside, like so. The arms are going to rotate so that the hand's on the outside. It's going to come up, compress, and go over like so. This is then going to come up. These come around. These come around. This is going to tab in to the top of Jetfire's head here and here. So we're going to tab both of those in. Like so. And we've got this section here. That's going to come up. And that's going to be the handle for the gun. And then we have a panel on either side of these wings. These detach. You want to grab both of these and they're going to join together and tab in to the end of the gun. This is going to hinge up and this one hinges up as well. Walking stick folds up and can be tabbed in on the underside of the arm, or you can use it as the hilt for your axe. That's pretty much what we're left with there. We've got the gun, but if you notice the handle has a groove on it, as if it's going to tab in to an open palm hand. And well, he doesn't have any open palms, they are just closed fists, so can't see how I'm going to get that gun to attach. I mean, it's meant to be there, because if you got rid of that peg, then the actual circular tab would be far too shallow. So bit of an oversight there. So there we have him. He's not terrible. Mine's incredibly loose. These legs around the thighs especially, the joints just aren't tight enough, unfortunately. He does have a tendency to just keep collapsing. I'm not a fan of this section at the top here as well. I would like that to have folded away. I did see somebody had pried the back section off so they could then fold that piece down, but it did look very kind of naked. I guess it's a real big oversight with regards to the hand and the gun though. That is a dying shame really. I would like that to have fitted on there. But I guess I can't win them all. Give you all an idea of scale. Here is alongside the Studio Series Bumblebee Optimus Prime, and of course my recently reviewed Jetfire upgrade kit from Iron Warriors on the MPM Prime. Well, actually the Legendary Toys version of Prime, but that personally is my favourite look for him. It's again got lots and lots going for it, but again that doesn't transform. And the one that we have here does. I don't think it's Jetfire that lets the set down. I think it's Prime. If Prime was sturdier, or if there was some more options, I guess, then I definitely prefer it to its current state. But I just think there's a lot of potential there. But I think they've missed it slightly this time round, which is a shame. Black Mamba, very, very good. One of my favourite knockoff companies. But I believe this one has fallen just short. Would show you the articulation, but he really does just collapse when I try and move him. The arms do move. Of course, we do have some bend in those legs. We do have a pivot in the legs, and Prime's articulation stays mainly as it was, but he is incredibly back heavy. Not really much I can do about that, unfortunately, though. I could probably bring these wings out slightly. You can maneuver the tail fin as you see fit as well, but like I previously mentioned, it is back heavy, and it's just those joints on Prime around those hips are letting him down. Thanks again to TF Direct for letting me have an early look at this, even though I'm kind of later than everybody else. But I hope you found the video useful. Personally, as a preference, I would like to keep Prime as Prime and Jetfire as Jetfire. I initially intended to have these combined, but I just don't think practically it's going to work. The more I use Prime, the looser those joints get. This is the third time I've combined them, and it's just not getting any easier. So I think I'm going to keep them separate. Jetfire's a nice looking figure really, and I've also got my upgraded version of Prime here, haven't I? So I've only got so much room. Until next time, for myself and the team over at TF Direct, thanks for watching. Goodbye.